You were asking me a very important question regarding the Obama administration.
Yes. Tell us about your view of the Obama administration, Brother Larry.
What the public is not quite aware of, my view from what I've witnessed and my understanding, is that the President Obama is the man who saved America. Now, there will be some Republicans and some others who will not necessarily agree with that, but they don't have the full picture, the majority of the American public. Let me see if I can capsulize it as easily as I can and as digestible as possible. When the Bush administration left office, remember they gave $1.2 trillion to Wall Street to bail out Wall Street. Wall Street was expected to expend those resources and help the economy continue to function properly.
And this was under the Bush administration?
Under the Bush administration initially. Yes. Mm-hmm. When President Obama took office, he proceeded to help the savings and loans in our banking institutions by giving them $897 billion. Mm-hmm. They also were expected to spend these resources, and they did not.
What effect did that have? The fact that they did?
It was having a devastating effect on the American economy, and I'll tell you why I know that they didn't expend those funds. Mm-hmm. They were hoping to drive up inflation. And what the public doesn't realize that if inflation goes up, there's only one commodity that keeps pace with inflation, and that's gold.
Mm-hmm. So as gold system?
Well, I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
If inflation rises, the only commodity that will keep pace with inflation is gold. Okay. The price of gold goes up. Now, remember, because the bubble burst in the housing industry, with all the mistakes they made, those that had the power to make these loans and packages and put people in housing that couldn't necessarily afford what they had to pay for. It was at the expense of the American public, but they're not big enough to accept their responsibility and role in this debacle. They blame Charlie Homeowner, who's unsophisticated, has limited, if any, knowledge at all of the mortgage industry. But someone had to pay the price. But in order to get their money back, their not spending those resources was at the root of creating higher inflation, which meant if gold was at $500 an ounce, mm-hmm. if they held that long enough, it would become, as it is today, $1,800, $1,900 an ounce. What Obama did, President Obama, very smart, his advisors obviously apprised him of the method by which he could continue to grow the economy. He had to spend resources to keep the system alive. He worked out a deal with the China, India, and Japan to continue treating the American dollar as if it was worth 99 cents.
More than it actually was?
More than it actually was. The actual value of the dollar at the time was only 6 cents.
Wow.
Not over 7 cents. And it meant the dollar was almost worthless. But these three countries continued to buy American products as if the American dollar was strong. They had a great deal to lose themselves, and it was to their advantage.
Right.
What this did was allow the Obama administration to safely float the American dollar to safety, which meant it protected the values of the people at the lower levels who didn't create the problem, but it gave America another chance at becoming more solvent. If he had not done that, we would have had a catastrophe much greater than the 1929.
Wow.
I mean, that was a horrible thing. And when you in 1929, people were jumping out of windows. Yeah, the Great Depression.
Yes.
It would have been more catastrophic if he hadn't done that. In order to keep it alive, he has to continue spending.
So it was a snowball effect.
Yes, yes, that worked very well for us, yeah, in this instance. Remember that if I cut off the circulation in any part of your body, now the circulatory system in the human anatomy is blood.
Yes.
If I cut off any section of that, you will develop all kinds of problems, heart failure, kidney failure, anything you can possibly think. Hemorrhage. Yeah. Just by cutting off the circulatory system in your body, and eventually you will die. Well, Obama recognized that. His administration recognized that.
Early on.
The currency, the bloodline for America is the green currency. And that green currency must continue to fluctuate freely in order to keep us healthy. Yes.
Is the lifeline.
That's the lifeline.
Economic lifeline.
And when you shut off the use of those funds not being expended, you kill this economy. You destroy the potential of what the nation can do. You have massive...
So could we say that what President Obama did at that time was, in a sense, economic, how do I say, infusion?
It was an economic infusion and understanding money. Most of us don't. The general public have no knowledge of what money does at that level.
Yes.
Paul Volcker and others do, who can advise the president of the United States.
Of course, he's been criticized for it.
Oh, sure, he has been.
But if he hadn't have done it, we'd be in a
we would be in, you would not know this country. We'd be in chaos.
Wow.
Brother would be killing brothers in the street, and it wouldn't be safe for your children and other people's children, anyone else. I mean, there's nothing to do with the color line in that instance. Everybody would become victimized by indecision and following the people who created the problem.
Wow, and that's so pertinent what you're saying about the average people. We don't know this. We aren't taught that at that level.
We're not.
No.
We're not taught that. And they don't realize that every dollar every $1,000 a dollar you deposit into a lending institution allows that bank by law to be able to lend $1,000 to 5 different people. Wow. Now, if the bank pays you 2% interest, but they're charging as much as 1 to 1.5% a month on each of those 5 loans, that's 18% a year times 5. It's 90.
Wow. That's something. Thank you so much for the information.
Well, I'm happy to be of some help. I hope that will be of a benefit and maybe shed a different light on the efforts being done by the Obama administration. He is truly the man that saved America.
Thank you.
I thank you.